Hey everybody! Welcome back to the Insight Lab. Today we're diving into a big one, the global influx of money into artificial intelligence in 2025. Who's pouring in the dollars, who's benefiting, and what it means for structural power, narrative control, and human rights. We'll look at fresh data, then ask, when US $1.5 trillion is projected to be spent on AI this year, who wins? And more importantly, who might lose? So grab a coffee, lean in. This is Structural Truth plus Human Rights Lens Time. Section 1. Setting the scene. First, the numbers. According to Gartner, global spending on artificial intelligence is forecast to total nearly US $1.5 trillion in 2025. Gartner plus one. Break it down. AI services, infrastructure, application software, huge growth. For example, AI infrastructure software is projected to hit about US $126 billion in 2025. Nation Thailand, what's driving it? Massive data centers, GPU clusters, cloud computing, generative models, basically the backbone of what we call AI. Big tech firms and hyperscalers are doubling down. CIO Dive Swan. Why this matters? Money, X power, resource concentration. Whoever controls the hardware, the infrastructure, the models, stands in a very strong place to shape the narrative, access, and influence. Section 2. Flows, actors, and power. Let's map the flows. Actors, big tech firms, cloud providers, chipset GPU manufacturers, venture capital, governments. Resources, money, data centers, cloud capacity, AI optimized hardware. Flows, capital, infrastructure, models, products, dominance. Here's how the concentration happens. 1. Firms that already had deep pockets move early into AI hardware and infrastructure, locking in first mover advantage. 2. They build proprietary platforms, acquire data, tie in services, and lock in clients. 3. The rest of the economy often becomes a consumer of the system rather than a builder of it. What that means is a kind of structural asymmetry. Infrastructure and model design are concentrated. Deployment and consumption are more widespread but less empowered. So when we ask who benefits, the short answer is those at the top of the stack. The long answer, many others pay in one way or another, whether by lack of access, weaker bargaining power, data extraction, or narrative control. Section 3. Structural imbalance and narrative control. Now let's add the layer you and I care about. Structural truth plus human rights. When you have one set of actors controlling infrastructure and platforms, you also gain power to control the narrative, what algorithms show, which voices get amplified, which languages are supported, which jurisdictions set the regulatory rules. Imagine an AI model trained predominantly on Global North data, built by Global North teams, deployed by Global North firms. What happens to content, voices, languages from the Global South, often marginalized, often misinterpreted? This leads to narrative suppression, invisibility, and structural disadvantage. So far we have big money, big infrastructure, big control. Now ask, when you're being told AI will democratize everything, everyone gets access, is that the full truth, or is it also this system strengthens those who built it? Because the $1.5 trillion number isn't just about spending, it's about concentration of spending. It's about getting ahead in the game, so you determine how the game is played. And if you determine how the game is played, you also influence the frame of knowledge, identity, access. That's why you see structural power built into the system. Section 4. Implications across the world. Let's zoom in. The Global South, including Africa and the Middle East. Here are some critical issues. Access to infrastructure. Data centers, high-end GPUs, AI training hubs are heavily concentrated in the Global North or in select hubs. Many regions lack it. Language and dataset bias. Many AI systems underperform for languages, dialects, and cultural contexts outside the major markets. That means less accuracy, less agency. Narrative framing. When Global South stories, voices, languages are mishandled or invisible, the system reinforces the idea that those regions are targets of aid objects of data, recipients of technology, not designers. Rights dimension. If your data, identity, language, voice are misrepresented or invisibles, that touches on rights. Right to representation, right to knowledge, right to equal participation in digital futures. So, the spending surge in AI is a chance, but for many parts of the world, it's also a risk that existing power imbalances get baked further into the digital infrastructure and thus into social, economic, cultural rights. Section 5. What to do, agency and empowerment. So what can be done? You and I don't just sit back, because if you know the flows, you have power. Here are actionable ideas. 1. Visibility and voice. Support and promote AI research, data collection, and model building from the global south. Encourage multilingual data sets, local data centers. 2. Critical narratives. Train youth and professionals to ask, who built the model? Who funded it? Whose voice is missing? Use your institute's tools to map that. 3. Demand accountability. Governments, tech firms, and institutions investing the trillions must be asked, how will this money benefit all? How will Global South be included in design, infrastructure, ownership? 4. Alternative systems. Encourage open source models, decentralized infrastructure, locally governed AI projects. If the infrastructure is controlled by a few, diversity of infrastructure matters. 5. Human rights framework. Always anchor in rights, equitable access, participation, voice, representation, dignity. When technology advances, it must advance everyone. In closing, we've seen the data, US $1.5 trillion in AI spending in 2025. We've seen the flows of power. We've seen the implications for narrative, access, rights. Now the question is, how will we shape it rather than letting it shape us? If you're part of the Global South or someone who cares about justice in tech and society, this is your moment. Let's claim agency. Let's build the narrative. Let's humanize the AI future. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, hit like, subscribe to the Insight Lab, drop your thoughts in the comments. How do you see AI spending affecting your region? What stories do we need to tell? Let's keep the conversation going. Until next time, stay curious, stay critical, stay empowered.